Well, hello, welcome back. I'm Claire, this is Purple Poppy, and today I'm continuing with the Tim Holtz Flip Flap Journal. When I left you, we joined all the envelopes together, we started to line the pages, and we'd added this lovely decoupage paper to the front. Now, while you've been gone, what I've basically done is I've had all of my stamps out and I've just stamped all the way through. Obviously not on the music page, but on here, three different stamp sets. That's obviously where the fabric's going to go, music paper, and then lots of flower heads here. I'm not worried about these missing areas because these are just backgrounds for me to lay onto, okay? Just so that we're not working on blank coffee dyed papers. So if I open it out, you can't really get it all on camera, but that's what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to set that to one side for a moment, because also what I've been doing while you've been gone is I've been doing quite a lot of die cutting. So I have die cut some of these specimen frames, so I've got two of those to use, and they're the little middles that come out. I've got one of these little framelets, and I've done some of the words and numbers there. Okay, I've also die cut quite a few flowers and things, and I've done this butterfly. Now this is actually not Tim Holtz, this is just from somewhere like Timu, I can't remember, but I thought that would sit beautifully on there. So I'm thinking that that is probably going to be my topper for the front. So I do confess that's not Tim Holtz. While we're talking about that, because obviously I'm intending to use this fabric, now it has got a touch of blue in it, but to me it's mainly green, brown and black. So I've got the Archival Sepia, I've got Distress Oxide Iced Spruce, and I've got Spectrum Noir Black. So they're the inks that will be going into the envelope pocket that I will be using to match up with this fabric. I've also dug out some of the word tickets or cards, and obviously I've got my paper dolls here as well. So what I would like to do today is not necessarily talk so much about the signatures and the coffee dyed papers that will be going in there, or tea dyed, whatever. I want to talk about the extras. Now I did think it might be quite nice if we added maybe one of those in there. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to add it within the signature or around the signature or whatever, but I've got two of those cut, and I want to make sure I've got one at the top and one at the bottom. So we'll fold that one the other way, like so. So we've got two of those, and then we've got one of the coin pocket envelopes. See this white card picking up bits from my desk. My desk's so mucky. So we've got one of these as well. So I want to be able to incorporate all of these items. So I'm going to set to by pulling out my messy mat. She says that might be a fate worse than death, but anyway. Right, here we go. Messy mat. Excuse me. And I want to start by doing some inking. So I'm thinking I'm going to start with the green. And I just want to come all around it. Trying to get quite a mottled effect. Love it. I think that's sort of reminiscent of the fabric once we put some brown onto there as well. Don't actually know why I left it folded up, because obviously we need to do all of it. Now this is something I don't know if you ever consider doing when you're making something. You know, you can make it truly unique by giving yourself a paper colour that you wouldn't have otherwise had, simply by using your inks. So, blending that in. Going lighter and darker in various areas, just so that it's not too flat. And then I'm gonna take my brown ink, oops, sepia ink, and I'm just gonna add this into it as well, just for that mottled. Now my brown is a little bit more pinky orange than the brown that's in there, so I'm thinking I'm going to have to go back over with the green, because I don't want it as orange as that, but obviously having done the other side I've now got to even it up. What is it? Don't do as I do, do as I say. Maybe test it on a scrap piece first so that you know what you're getting, and we can dull down that orange with some more green. That's better. So maybe the answer was, I'll try it on the next one, maybe the answer was to put the brown down first and then run the green over the top. Also, of course, this green is an oxide, so we can put a little bit of spray on there and age that up even further. So I've got my, whoops, spray bottle. This just come from Poundland or wherever. And we've got water on there, and that will colour up nicely, I think. So I'm going to set that to one side to dry. You can hear me moving things to balance it on. I'm going to use a bit of tissue, and we're going to wipe up that water. Okay, and then I'm going to go for picture frames. So this time we are going to try by putting the brown on first, and obviously we've only got to do one side, so we only want to do the one side. Oh, the one side. Oh, it's all right, my Jenga pile is falling down. So going, oh, now that's interesting, because I've used the wrong brush. It's a darker brown anyway. Maybe that's something to consider. You see, it's because I'm not concentrating. I bet you were shouting at the screen, wasn't you? Claire, you've got the wrong brush. And then bringing the green over the top. Nice and faded. Love it. So yeah, we're getting a nice vintage look on there. I won't go forward and do the others now because obviously that's a bit boring for you to watch. But I will also be colouring my plant dies. So ones like this, which are, you know, the sort of dead wild flowers, I'll just be adding colour to them like that. Okay, a little bit more of the brown. And then that now sits with the vintage with all the rest. Okay, so I shall be doing all of that. But what I would like to do at this juncture is fold this over so we know where we are. Now, sometimes if you don't get this completely lined up, you can see a little tiny bit of the back. Can you see? So I'm just going to run the brush round so that if there is any little bits showing, they will at least be the same sort of colour. Excuse me. I would like to know where my bone folder is. Here's one. This is a gift from the wonderful Mel over at a treasure page. So it's much nicer looking than the white one I usually play with. Okay, so that is going to sit together nicely. I now obviously want to fill the back. So have I got a nice wordy stamp to hand? I don't think I've got a Tim Holtz wordy stamp to hand, have I? Because these are all... Oh, you know what we could do? Look, there's some nice words on there. We could use that field notes label because I'm sure that will basically cover that. So I'll find a block. Whoops, I've got two stuck together. Put that on. Oh, I've got a real tickle, I'm sorry. Okay. And I don't know what's happened to me with stamping lately, but I've done so much of it, look, that I can't get the die out from under my finger. I'm going to have to do some bleach soaking, I think. Soak my hands in some bleach. Open it up. Line it up. And press it down. And then we've got some words in the back. Okay, simple. And if I take my flower, now that I feel is maybe too close in colour to the frame, so let's find another one. I've got quite a few up here. What about that one? So that's going to stick out too far. What about this? I always call it Labrador. I don't know if it actually is, or if it's wheat. Is it wheat? Yes, that one's going to work. So we're going to make sure we do it brown this one this time. Okay, got that brown. And then I would like a person, because I think it's going to be quite fun if we can find the field note expert Edward Monaghan from Philadelphia we're looking for. So we need a man. They look more like children. Oh goodness me. There's a man. Nope, he's no good. Don't really want to use, although he does look. Is it slightly too big? Because she looks a bit weird hanging off there. They're too big. I am going to get there, I know I am. Maybe he will work. Yes, he will definitely work. So, and I know you probably will think I'm balmy cutting these apart, but my argument is I'm getting 2 or 3 for the price of 1. I buy the groups because, you know, if I want a group, then that's awesome. But if I don't, I'm not afraid to cut them apart like that. Right, now, he is going to go there like that. And we're going to chop his feet off. We don't want his feet sticking out. Whoops. And then that was going to go on top. So, first things first, let's get him stuck down. Sorry, I feel like I'm coming off camera a lot. I do apologise if I am. It is what it is. For some reason, my camera setup's gone a bit weird. I don't know what's happened. Right, so we're going to do his shoulders. Where does he go to? There. So chop him off at the knees. Poor man. Right, so I'm doing shoulders down. I'm looking now to make sure that I'm not spilling out all over the place. I feel like you can see more on my coffee cup than what I'm actually doing. Right, he's going to go there, like that. And scoop that round. Trim this off because I didn't cut him short enough. Like so. Okay. Oh, goodness me, I do apologise. I feel like this is turning into a bit of a nightmare video. I don't know why I'm using Yoo-hoo for this when it's only paper. I could easily have been using something else. Now, this is the tricky bit. You have to pick his head up, poke it back through, and then you can line all of that up like so. You don't obviously have to have his head sticking out. You could put him lower and have his head inside. I'm just a bit weird and I quite like the idea of his head poking out. It's a bit novel, isn't it? Okay, and then this one, oops, this one, oh, it's because I've got glue on my fingers now. This one I'm just going to dab bits of it and pray, basically. Pick it up. Now obviously it's glue heavy and we want it to come there like that. Pick out that. Okay, take a piece of tissue, dab any excess glue off. Now, I think he is super, super cute. Now, where were my words here? And I did have some tweezers. Oh, we're going to lose number, look. So, need to poke that out, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. Now the question is there any hope at all of us getting these in a straight line? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go along there like that with some glue. And then we're going to pick up the end. And we are going to put it down on that line of glue. I'm going to pick up the O, which, trust me, is easier said than done. I'm going to poke out the hole. Oh, goodness me. And then we're going to pop that down there like that. And just work our way along and hope that we put the glue in the right place. Oh, I need tighter nose pliers, really, don't I? See, that needs to come down a little bit. Oh no. Now the glue's dried on me because I've been so long faffing around. That's okay, we can do it again. We will not be beaten by this. And I'm going to use that to draw the line. Can you even see what I'm doing? Probably not, you're probably all cursing me. I think we're probably going to put this down to the video that only sort of worked. And I'm probably not going to be using these on camera again. That's for sure. Because I don't do fiddly, in case you hadn't noticed. And this is the ultimate in fiddly. However, I've got to be honest and say, I think that looks super cool. I don't want that bit. In a minute it's going to end up being number 24 rather than 247, and it is going up the hill a little bit, and we have got some excess glue there, but you know what, I think I can live with that, especially if I fade it in like that. The numbers there and the excess glue has just rubbed off. Oh, and so's the number 4. Do you know what? I'm not happy with that at all now, am I? So yeah, I've rubbed everything off except the number 2. I want half of the number 7. So maybe I should have just left that alone. I don't think this one's going to make it into our book, is it? But you get the idea of what I was trying to do. I don't mind that actually, now that I'm really looking at it. Because it's just dirty and messy. I haven't got a problem with that. So then I'm going to take my hole punch. I'm going to punch out one of those little grommet areas, and I will dangle something from there. I'm not sure what yet. Maybe a little tiny butterfly or something, because it is a specimen, isn't it? He is a specimen finder. This butterfly is going to be too big. Have I got one of these that's small enough? It's a bit big really, isn't it? Oh, I'll have to think on that. Do you know what though? What if we had one of these received? That's smaller, isn't it? So if we ink that up and we put that onto a random piece of card like that, give it, oh no, see, not that. What have you done, Claire? We don't want to cover it in black, do we? We want to cover it in brown. See, I told you, it's the video that's not really working. But anyway. And I've got papers, coffee dyed papers drying in the oven. So the oven's going to be tinging at me in a minute. There you go. That works nicely. So then if I take a 1-inch punch, I'm sure this is a 1-inch. It's slightly smaller, but it'll work. I really need a 3/4 inch, don't I? Sorry about Boo. We'll punch that out. Put another hole in that. Right, sorry. Another hole in there. Just brown this up on the back as well. Where's it gone? Okay, and then I've just got a bulb pin, and we can slot that through there. I'll slot that through there, and then that will just hook onto there like that. Yeah, or if you don't like that idea, you could just put a jump ring in there or something, whatever, you know, takes your fancy. I quite like to use the bulb pin around that way, and then potentially hang that also onto a piece of fabric with a pin. So there you go, that's that one. And then with this one, still a little bit damp, should probably really wait for it to dry, but hey ho, these things, you know. Now on this one, I thought it would be nice to build up. So let's try and get you on more in the screen. There you go. I want to take one of these words. Now I really want the little ones because of the size of this, because the medium ones will fit, but it's going to sort of fill it up. Now that's fine if that's what you want. You could maybe actually use one of those. You want? Use one of those rather than the small ones. I'm going to go for create. Just stick them back in there because I've got so much stuff on my desk. It's ridiculous. Right, so let's start by gluing this up. And of course, by using something like this, it gives us a nice little bit of weight to our card. Now I want it that way because I want to add here. Okay, so one of those boys that was a 3 that we cut out, we got these 2, haven't we? So we could maybe put him on there. Look at him, poor little soul. No shoes or socks. Now, we're doing sort of botany, aren't we? So I'm wondering if we now reuse this one. Might be too big. What about, we've got, desperately don't want to get ink on that fabric, do I? Right, so these ones that came out of the photo frame, I'm going to use that to stamp across there. I'm going to do it in the black. Like that. I'm going to trim round it so that it's the right size. Like so. That's going to come probably there, like that. He can come up a little bit more. And then I just feel like I need something else on there. So I'm wondering now if we carry on the botany. No. I think this is where we need the dark one, because I think he's quite a sad little character. And maybe we'll just pop him over there. Or do we go the other way and pop that up there? Gets lost, doesn't he? There we go. That's what we want. So let's bring this round, and first things first, we're going to glue this one, and that's going to go there. This one's going to be fun. Just sort of press it on like that. I believe that's where I wanted it. Well, it's stuck now, so I hope it's where I wanted it. And the way things are going today, it's probably not. Oh yeah, no, that's fine, isn't it? There. A little bit of Yoo-hoo on here because you need a stronger glue. But where I cut him out, he's got a weird shape shoulder, so we just trim that off a little bit there. And now we can glue him down on top of all that, and then we've got our 2 pieces done. So yeah, that is going to go there like that. Get the lid on the glue. So we've got the specimen, and we've got the file folder ready to go in to our journal. As always, thank you for joining me. And if you've managed to get this far, your patience is amazing because it's been a weird old video. Stay safe. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye for now.